Hey guys, Gassy TV here with another Path of Exile video. In this one, I'm going to show you my take on the passive skill trees on the Atlas to farm the most currency. I'm going to mainly focus on no investment approaches so that you as a new player or a casual player can utilize this video to actually learn how to make currency by just grinding and playing the game. Obviously, I will make some quite quick notes on how you can improve investments into making the currency profits from these runs better. Let's just dive right into it. The first thing you want to keep in mind is that you can always combine whatever farming strategy you're using with Sana's map device modifiers. As you pop the map in the map device, you're then able to start any of the missions. You're also able to put in different types of mechanics onto the map depending on how much you've progressed through the Atlas. For example, Harvest costs 12 chaos. And then we have Heist, Harbinger, Ambush, Bloodlines, Breach, and Essences, and Fortune Favors the Brave. Which is a really cool mechanic as well. So keep in mind that you are able to utilize these type of modifiers onto the maps you're running as well, but this is more for the mediocre advanced approach, but I would say that is something to keep in mind for the casual players as well, as I explain the different regions. I'm going to start off with Hamlet. Hamlet is my preferred approach, and I'm doing it in a slightly less effective, but more effective for the approach that I'm going for, and I'll be explaining more in a bit. So basically, Haewark Hamlet is all about essences and betrayal with the side note of harvest. So I'm going to explain each note of this. I know a lot of people would recommend that you go for essences. I personally don't agree. The problem with the essences is that you want to get yourself corrupted remnants, which I'm completely out of because they're pretty expensive now. What the corrupted remnants are doing is that you're able to pop them onto an essence before you release the essence monsters, and by doing so, you have a chance of increasing the tier of those essences. And if you're using it on purple essences, then they have the possibility of turning into a corrupted essence. And these corrupted essences are 4 different ones. I believe it's horror, hysteria, delirium, and one more I forgot the name of. And these essences are usually very expensive. For example, the essence of horror is going for like 30-40 chaos each right now. So it's pretty popular to do this. The problem is that the remnants themselves are expensive. A lot of people are farming this, and this is actually combined by popping the 2 chaos per map essence. So there is a little bit of an investment to do this. Now, the reason I don't like this personally is because I am actually farming betrayal. But if you do the essence strategy, you want to couple this together with either Sacred Lands and Paid in Blood, which increases ritual encounters, which can be very, very good for rewards. As it's literally just free money laying there, and you can choose yourself which nodes you want or which currency you want from those rewards. You can also go for the betrayal encounters, which means that June missions gives increased favor and have increased chance of being a June mission on completion, as well as intelligence gathering, which means that every time you finish a map, you get 10 intelligence for any random immortal syndicate safe houses. Or you can couple it together with the approach of Harvest. Now, Harvest is a big joke for the most part. They've completely humiliated it. I will mention, though, that if you want Harvest, you will do it in Hamlet. There's no other area that is worth bothering. The Grove's Call increases chance to contain Sacred Grove. This doesn't matter since we're popping it to the Atlas device if you're doing that. Plants harvested are more likely to give less common crafting options. So, but again, less common crafting option based off 0 crafting options is still 0. And then we have the wild fruit. Harvest crops in areas have 100% increased chance to contain a tier 4 plant for the bigger craft, so to say. Now, this is a joke, but since I don't think that the essences are that good at the current state of the game because the market is getting flooded and the remnants of corruptions are expensive, I feel like I would be better off coupling my betrayal with ritual and then just smacking in the remaining points in Harvest. But Harvest can be good for 2 things. One, for the people that don't want to purchase crafts and they want to have the off chance of finding something useful. For example, a lot of my big dig crafts that I'm working on requires a lot of reforged crafts. Now you have the other approach of actually purchasing a bulk of items that you can use the regular reforged crafts, such as the reforged with a lightning modifier, or reforged with a cold modifier, reforged with a physical modifier. All of these are very good to be used for the sake of profit crafting. So you can just buy a base that you just randomly throw these crafts on, and eventually you're going to hit something profitable. So you actually make use of these harvest crafts that you do encounter that would otherwise be discarded. I'm not using it for that. I'm farming some specific harvest crafts, and I'm not popping the 12C. I don't think the 12C is worth it for what I'm doing. The way I am farming this is investing into watchstones. I'm not going to go too much into the watchstones, but I will mention what I'm doing. Other than that, you can always invest into watchstones that you can craft for the sake of increasing the efficiency of what you're doing. In my case, I have 4 investigators watchstones, which are titanium Hamlet's watchstones. These increases the randomly encountered master up to 100% to be June for the betrayal encounters. And also when I'm completing the map, it increases the chance of that mission that I gain to be a June mission, similar to what focused investigation is doing note here, because it increases the chances of me getting a June mission on the map completion. The reason I'm doing this is to couple this with another area which I think is completely disregarded or it's been neglected in the game. I'm going to talk about it in a bit, but that's the way I farm Hamlet. So basically for me, it's just farming June missions and a smacking harvest on top of that as I'm farming. The next area would be Tirn's End. Now, Tirn's End is all about beast farming. Now, I've been doing some bit different. I don't have enough refund points to fix this, but I have been testing some different approaches to it. The Delirium one has been completely disappointing. So what I would say is that the best way to farm this is to go big game with a great migration. There is a huge amount of beast. If you want to farm beast, there is no other area in this game that can compete with the approach of Tirn's End for beast farming. Lira Arthain has some really juicy ones that I've been trying out with the increased beasts in the area, more likely to be less common varieties, but it's not really worth it in comparison to the big game and great migration. So if you're farming beast, Tirn's End is the way to go. The other nodes are rather disappointing. Next area would be Lex Proxima. Lex Proxima has a couple of different things. First of the harvest nodes, they are worse than what you do in Hamlet. I feel like Lex Proxima is one of the areas you can completely ignore. I don't like it at all. I think it's completely wasted. It is stupid and it's not worth bothering. The main reasons for this is because the breaches are very, very good early in the league. But as soon as we reach a couple of weeks into the league, all of the stones are crashed down in value. It's not worth bothering. It's just a waste of time to go for. The harvest is a joke, even more so compared to Hamlet. And, well, Sulfite, I don't even want to talk about delving, I'm not a big delver. And the Seance is not very good at all. So Lex Proxima is a completely wasted area. I would recommend completely skipping that at all times. Lex Ejoris is actually really cool. Now, Lex Ejoris have some really cool things to it. It is most likely the absolute best magic find area in the game because we have the availability of going with delirium maps. You have a maps found in areas an increased chance to be layers of delirium, so you don't have to purchase deli orbs. You have the possibility of increasing a boss spawn, as well as the dropping increased simulacrum splinters and dropping a unique cluster jewel, as well as compulsive order, giving you the increased chance for 3 additional reward types. Now, these structures here are really, really good for delirium, and you couple that with the generic approach of magic finding deli maps is to pop Alva, the incursion temple. 2 things to this that is really cool. First off, we have the Alva mission and increased chance of getting an Alva mission on completion, which is very, very good. And then you have time dilation, which increases the time to gain from kills is double for incursions in the area, which some builds might need if you're doing a solo run for this for magic finding. But also incursion monsters in the area are at least a magic rarity, which increases the drop rate by you get so much experience and so much loot, it's insane. So this is best coupled, in my opinion, as a magic find character for the lower map tiers, and then doing that as a solo player. Obviously, this ramps up quickly if you're doing group magic find playing with a higher tier maps, but you can approach this with a lower level map tier running with a magic find character in a solo state as well. Now, you can actually itemize your Alva temple. So when you finish an Alva temple, you can actually just itemize that and sell that rather than run it. It's up to you. Or you can just stack up on them and then run them all together at a later time. So you don't have to waste time doing this. And this allows you for a very effective farming. I think Lex Ejoris is crazy good, both for solo and party, depending on how you approach it. Like I mentioned, I would recommend low level mapping or low map tier magic find mapping in solo and higher tier for party. Now, Glennarch is really bad, in my opinion. It's not as bad as Lex Proxima, but it's really bad. There's a couple of things you can do early game, for example. If you go for twice tempted and tamper proof, that allows you to get a lot of extra strong boxes, but also all strong boxes are rare and they are corrupted. Now, what this means is that you're able to drop corrupted 6-linked items, which you might need, or you can sell early in the league. Nowadays, a couple of weeks into the league, this is a completely wasted amount of money you can make, because it's basically nothing. But early on, this is very, very good. However, at this point, it is mostly farming divine orbs. I would say it is best coupled with the resource reallocation, which increases the chances to have an increased level of the other room in the architect that you kill in the incursion encounters, and killing the architect in the areas adds their upgrade tier to the surviving architect room, so you can basically change the way a room is all before it hits level 3, so to say, to increase the level of the new room to level 3 very quickly. So I think that for those of you who like farming all the incursions encounters, this is a really good way to do it. I've been trying out some Legion farming with this, and honestly, I've just been more and more disappointed with Legion. It's rather cheap, so to say, to get these emblems, and I don't think that the Legion farming in general is worth doing in the current state of the league. The other approach is Scent of Blood. This would be really nice for Delhi map farming, but because of the state of Delhi mapping, then Lex Ejoris is just vastly superior, which means that the Beyond approach you can go for here is just completely wasted in comparison to the shade that is cast upon it by the other areas. The next zone would be New Vastir. Now, New Vastir has one thing that's good to it, and that is Legion. I think Legion is terrible because of what I've said before. There are just better ways to approach it. I think a lot of people are farming Legion, and we're getting Legion pretty much across the board from a lot of other aspects, and this means that it's just shit. I don't have much to say. I think it's terrible. You have Soulfight, it's terrible. Abyss, one of the worst things you can do in the game right now for the sake of profit. Anarchy for Rogue Exiles. You know, it's pretty fun, but you know, early in the game, early league, this is nice to drop extra jewelries, especially for the people that likes doing chaos recipes. Yuck, by the way. But for those of you who like doing that, then Total Anarchy, a 10% chance for 20 additional Rogue Exiles is actually great for this. But also because jewelries early on is worth quite a lot if it drops with a lot of HP. Other than that, it's just Legion. And I don't think this is worth running for the sake of Legion. There are better approaches to the game than to do that. Lira Arthain. Basically, Blight is amazing. I don't like Blight, which is why I'm not running this. I've been actually focusing on the Mighty Hunter instead because I do not like Blight, but it is very, very profitable. Maps found in areas have 5% chance to have an area contains additional Blight encounter and enchantment modifier. And then we have the Blight chest areas, 20% increased chance to contain blighted maps or oils, and blighted chests in areas have 100% chance to contain blighted maps. Now, what's really good with this is that you can then stack up on blighted maps and then actually run the blighted maps where the actual money is being made. This is just to farm it off if you want to. And then you have a couple of other things. Like I mentioned before regarding Breach, this is good early in the league. I would recommend respecking out of this as soon as the Breach Stones drops in value, and then immediately going over to not the Beasts, because the Beasts are over here at Tyrn's End, right? And definitely not the Blight, because we were already talking about having Blights. So you already want this. You put those points in Heist. Now, I pretend to make this game feasible and enjoyable for me. I pretend Heist doesn't exist. However, I would actually be willing to do this specifically to farm when it comes to Heist. And the reason for this is because areas have increased chance to contain a smuggler's cache. And inside job, smuggler's caches in areas of 100% increased chance to drop blueprints, and blueprints that drop in area have a 10% chance to be fully revealed. Obviously, this can be coupled with the Heist encounters. I haven't even done it. That's how much I hate Heist. But you can do this through Heist. I don't remember the cost. I think it's like 6 chaos or something to guarantee Heist everyone that you do this. And by having that up and running, the Smuggler's Cache drops blueprints, and they also have a chance to be fully revealed. And these blueprints and even the contracts actually sells for a big, big amount of currency, more so than I care to admit. So this is actually a very good way to make currency. You could also run the Heist content. For you crazy people out there that actually enjoys running Heist, you know, kudos to you. I don't know how you put up with standing behind doors all day, but if you like that, sure, you know, be my guest. There's a lot of money to be made in Heist, but you can also, as someone like me who hates Heist, just sell these to fuel the fire for the people that enjoy doing it. Last but not least, the hidden gem, Valdo's Rest. Now, a lot of people would say that Valdo's Rest is really bad. I don't think this is true at all. I think Valdo's Rest is absolutely amazing for the purpose of me farming June missions up in Hamlet. And that is because I've invested into stones, or watchstones with the Syndicate role, which increases the chance for the Syndicate members to have, to be more likely to be accompanied by reinforcements. Now, what's really good with Valdo's Rest is it used to be the big dick farming with Harbingers, or as I like to call them, Garbingers. This is honestly pretty fucking shit, but it is still free currency. You get an additional Harbinger every map, and you get them to be replaced by a Harbinger boss, which drops some Ancient Shards and Chaos Shards and whatnot, and more often than not, I do get some Exalted Shards. To be honest, it's quite common. It's not a big farming strategy like it used to be, but it's still extra currency for basically nothing. I did put the remaining points I had into Intrinsic Darkness for the Metamorph encounter, because I don't like the Blight, but you can definitely do that if you want to. But the best part of this is Gut Instinct together with Test of Loyalty. Gut Instinct means that every defeated Immortal Syndicate in the area grants 5 intelligence for the current encounter safe house if they're not interrogated. This allows you to faster progress the approach of getting to Katarina or the safe houses. Test of Loyalty. Immortal Syndicate members that are executed gains an additional rank. This means that if you increase the rank of one of the encounter or betrayal encounters that you want to get to level 3, it will immediately become level 3. And what's really good with this is that it's very easy to navigate and get a full board of level 3 betrayal encounters, which you can approach in whatever way you want to. You can target farm specific areas like I am doing right now. I can show you what I have. Actually, I fucked that board up the other day, so we'll see how it looks right now. There. Yeah, I did fuck it up. Okay, so I've already done it, which is why I have a focus ability on my bar, because of another story. So basically what I do with the betrayal encounters is I am focusing a lot on profit crafting. I think we made 700x or something right now in just profit crafting. And one of those things that we're approaching with this is to move Aisling into research. So what they've done with betrayal is pretty interesting. It is that you can get to level 3 with the betrayal encounters, but if you kill Katarina, every leader and every connected master to those areas will be considered as if they were one level higher inside the Katarina reward structure room, right? So if a level 3 Aisling, for example, on research drops you Veiled Chaos Orbs, she becomes level 4. And at level 4, she guarantees adding a Veiled modifier to an item with a small chance of getting a second Veiled modifier on an item as an example. And it's just insane because they changed the way Veiled item modifier works. They are no longer considered a craft. So if you look at this one, for example, you can see that the second from the bottom modifier called Off the Order is a Veiled crafted modifier. That is not a crafted modifier. It is now a normal blue mod on the item with a chance to deal double damage whilst focused, which is 20%. It's crazy. Another aspect of that type of craft that is really strong, I'm going to show you a pair of boots we made the other day. You can see here the movement speed at the top on the boots here on the left. They have 25 to 30% movement speed, but also 10 to 12% increased movement speed if you haven't been hit recently. This means that if you couple this with the enchant, that gives you 10% movement speed if you haven't been hit recently. This could potentially be a 52% movement speed boots if you haven't been hit recently. And if you have been hit recently, then you have 30%. It is just crazy how good the betrayal encounters are in the current state of the game. So what I'm doing is, thanks to Valdo's Rest, I'm able to I am able to guarantee that the masters that I want will be level 3, and then I can just fiddle around and move them. And every time I go back to Hamlet to farm more June missions, I am then able to consistently progress increased missions from focus investigations. And then I'm also able to use intelligence gathering, as every time I finish a map, I will always gain 10 intelligence to random Immortal Syndicate safe house. So I'm very easily able to start pushing the Syndicate safe houses for the sake of getting to the point where I want. So in my case, I'm only caring about research. I never do the safe house. I'm running the other 3 to get intelligence for Katarina, and then I'll kill Katarina for Aisling on research. And there's a couple of others you can work with depending on how you want to play with the betrayals, but that would be my recommendation. But yeah, that's the hidden gem in Valdo's Rest that I think has been very easily neglected, and I think it's just amazing. I know this video turned out to be a lot longer than expected. I hope you guys had some use of it in terms of farming for low investment, as well as some investment. I didn't go too deep into advanced approaches that's going to cost you 20, 30, 40, 50x to invest into mega big dig crafting, or sorry, farming. But this video, I hope this helped you get into the point where you can start farming these different regions in a more effective manner. And yeah, I'm not going to well, I can't even speak anymore. I'm not going to prolong the video anymore. So hit the like button, subscribe for more content, or your mom's a cow. Till next time, stay safe and keep rocking. Did I just say your mom's a cow? Jesus, the fuck's wrong with me?